My channel has got to be one of the most inconsistent channels on this entire platform. I've never stayed with the same avatar design for long, and I've spent thousands of hours just working on the next improvement. Did I really need to all those times? No. But it created something really interesting in the process. Lost media for my channel. You see, many avatar designs that I've created, I've never featured in any public video, and no one has ever seen them but me, until today. As a celebration of how far we've come, let's go all the way back to the beginning. Here's everything you haven't seen. First on the list, my first two videos. They no longer exist. They were reviews of Portal 1 and Portal 2 respectively. I have no lasting evidence of this, only my own memory. I believe they were each only a few minutes long, the first one clocking in at around a minute and a half, and they got maybe 3 to 4 views each. I really wish I kept the thumbnail for the second video because it had this absolutely adorable drawing of Peach and Wheatley just vibing. Oh yeah, you might not know who Peach is. Well, we'll get to her later. For a while, my avatar was blue. For those of you who have been with me since my final space days, you might remember her. I no longer have any remaining base files for her because the original computer I drew her on was completely lost. Freshman year of college, and one night my computer shut down and never turned back on again. It was a Microsoft Surface Pro, which has a built-in hard drive like an iPad. Even with getting a new computer, there was no conceivable way for me to get those files back. I had to trash the thing. So I lost her, and I lost the 3 avatars I had during my final space days. Candles, Peach, and Waffles all gone. It's probably for the best because for those of you who have been with me that long, you'll remember that this is what my avatars looked like. Yikes. But the next avatar is one of my favorites, Tan Fur, which was when I discovered using neutral tone fur looked better on new outfits. Because the red that I use for modern day candles isn't as red as you'd think, it's more of a diluted earth tone plum color. I actually do still have one base file for this version of candles, and here it is. I don't remember if I ever used this outfit or not. I think I did, but the file I have, the outfit is drawn straight on her, which is how I used to do things. Whereas now I have the base body, and then I draw the outfits on top. Skipping forward a bit, right before the 9-month break that I took, I planned to use a new companion avatar, which I called Steven. I've still got plans for him, actually, but not for YouTube. He's one of my oldest designs. I also would have voiced him, giving Candles someone to play off of. I've tried to do this in the past. Every time I have several characters, I try and create sort of the illusion that multiple people are talking to each other, even though it's all my voice. It never really worked out, but it is something kinda cool that I try to do. So at this point, Rainbow Reviews, my old channel name, will now become The Coffee House. And here's where we get most of the lost media. This is the 9-month break that I took between my Bad Guys review and my first video essay on Final Space vs. Lightyear. 9 months. I didn't make a video, I just worked on improvements in the background. This here is a beta version of my old intro. Whoa, who is that? Okay, so this begins sort of a weird time for my art. Around this time, I would focus on making candles look as good as possible, and I think I was confusing good with sexy. Not a good time for my stuff, as everything still looks kind of janky, and you could tell I was just drawing the outfits in a really, I don't know, kind of a weird way. This was a theme of all of my art during this time, and it's not something that I look back on very fondly. I used to have an Instagram where I would make full-body drawings of every outfit, and more often than not, these skewed very suggestive. I'll probably have to blur some of these if I show them. During this 9-month break, I did a lot of experimenting with other avatar designs completely. Different fur colors, different everything. This is Flowers, another companion avatar I almost went with. In her alpha design, she was dark blue, and sort of a redesign of my original blue candles. In her beta version, however, she has one arm, and she was dark gray. I actually don't know if I have any surviving evidence of her beta design. If I find it, I'll show it, but I probably have to censor it. It was also around this time that, you see, when I draw my avatar's, the body, I don't draw any of the bits underneath, like why would you need to? But there was a time where I did used to, for whatever reason, and that's why I'll have to censor this one. So, as you can tell, these designs clearly weren't working. I was focusing too much on the outfits, and I needed to focus more on, how clean it looked. Not everything needs to be entirely anatomically correct as long as it looks pretty good. I needed something fresh, so I almost implemented this 3D background design where candles would sit on a couch in a more casual way. This idea never made it out of the preliminary stages. I believe I only have this one sketch. Kind of a cool idea. This little monitor plaque in the background would flip based on what we were doing. If we were in the review segment of the video, or if we were in the tier list segment of the video, or whatever. Candles kept going through a few different variations, including this one where she had this gun. I don't know what I was planning on doing with this. When you're drawing outfits, a lot of it revolves around where people's eyes are going. Unfortunately, eyes go to the chest area, so I started using it as a base for how I would draw my avatars, the rest of her body. And that was obviously very flawed and kind of icky. So a few of these avatars tried to do that, but clearly it would just look too weird and I didn't want to do that anymore. Once I realized this, I just kind of went back to the avatar I left off on when I stopped making videos, and I changed her design to this, which would have been fun, but maybe a bit too distracting. Eventually, this was like at the 8 months, and I just hit the reset button and designed a new avatar from the ground up. Tan fur came back swinging, and that's when I started making videos again. And that worked for a while, that was my most popular video during that time, avoiding the second act slump. That was a trip when that video came out. And I started making videos again pretty consistently, but they took forever to make, and it was right in the pit of too much schoolwork, too much work in general. Even though my channel really did kind of pick up during that time, I would not like to go back to those few months. Those were some hard videos to make. So that worked for a while, until one night I got bored and I wanted to try different fur colors again, just cause, I don't know, I was bored and I just wanted to see what I could do. And somehow, accidentally, I found this dark plum color scheme that looked really good with every color of outfit. And that was something that was important. If it doesn't look good with every color, then why have it? That's why I dropped the blue color. Dark plum earth tone looks way better. So here is the first ever drawing of candles with her modern colors, the line art borrowed from another drawing, and this is the first real sketch of her new default position. A lot more shadows in this one. I planned on having this many for every position, but I ended up not going with it anyway. But the shadows would have been too much to keep track of for every new outfit, so I ditched it. So that was pretty much all of the avatars in the behind the scenes stuff that you never saw, but what about scripts? Surely there are scripts I've written that never made it to air, right? Yes. There's a lot, actually. Here's the script for a complete retrospective on Batman Piderman, a show that I've been waiting patiently for new episodes on for about 3 years at this point. Still waiting, and yeah, they're probably never gonna finish it, but this was gonna be a really cool video, but it didn't really... The script was boring. I went through every episode, and I think if I eventually do make the video, I don't need to do that. I also had the idea to make a video about movie theater designs. I was super excited about this one. It felt really good, but the actual script, again, it read like a bad game theory episode, and I just had to scrap it. I don't know. Here's a recent video that almost got finished about finding the cookie dough dilly bar from Dairy Queen, which doesn't actually exist. And here's an email that I would have used in the video where I, no joke, emailed Dairy Queen HQ to figure out if they ever had one, and they actually responded and said no. This is a script for a video where I detail the science of mini golf. This is the most recent dropped script. Only about a month ago did I stop working on this one. It's history, science, and at the end I would have designed my own 18-hole course. It would have gone really into detail about the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection and rooftop mini golf courses, the whole 9 yards. I might eventually make this one if I can figure out how to properly execute on the idea. So that was all of the lost media from my channel that you've never seen. I'd also like to take this time to shout out everyone who helped me get here. First, my Discord buddies. Corporate Guy, Blue Hush Ghost, Tongahiti, The BC, Zaku Draw, Alpha, Livius Wildcard, Dimensional Traveler, Flutter Bunny, Geek Tunes, Kabopska, Prophet, Red Shirts, Ruby Boat, Some, Mint Details, 09 Brian, 4 feet and 4 inches, Alex Pie, Bowser Jr., Cactus Jack, Chili Chivy, Chocolate Geisha, Dr. 2 Roboto, Dr. Cringe, Fury, Guy from NSW, Azza, Jarl of Costco, Local Lackluster Lesbian, Miku, Mr. Man, Pupzul, Steve from Minecraft, Tetra, and Yuki. I'd also like to thank a few notable channels who really helped me grow. First, Hubie Doobie, who provided all of the Final Space clips that I use in my videos. Shank X, someone who actually gave me a channel shout out back when I had like less than 100 subs. He's awesome. And finally, Nintendo, a big YouTuber, for leaving a comment under my Clone High video. That gave me a real confidence boost. I hope I didn't forget anyone. If I did, I apologize, let me know, and I will fix it. I don't know what else to say, guys. It's been a wild ride, and thank you all so much for 1,000 subs. It's been pretty much my main goal for over 3 years, and I can't believe we finally hit it. Once the paperwork goes through, I should be able to start making actual money on my channel, which is crazy. Obviously, it won't be enough to live off of. It'll just be a little bit here and there to help me pay for stuff. So it's because of you guys that I can actually maybe have a chance at making a career out of this. So yeah. I don't know what else to say. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you at 10,000. Goodbye.